We're going to go with Cody in the second half.
Fajardo's got a scramble, throws end zone, and it's dropped. Mark Trestman's return not victorious. Toronto, they need more passing yards, don't they?
It's feeling a lot better.
Ricky Ray is back.
The annual Canadian National Exhibition is underway in Toronto, a tradition of the late summer, and today that includes the roller coaster ride that is the Toronto Argonauts, who are back here at BMO Field on the exhibition grounds, looking to end a 3-game losing streak and set for a rematch with the Montreal Alouettes today.
Darian Durant was just average in his first 4 games, averaging 235 yards passing and total of 4 touchdowns. Not so much in these last 3 games. He's been scorching defense, averaging 345 yards and total of 6 touchdowns.
Ricky Ray, the 37-year-old product from Sacramento State, has amassed 57,340 passing yards over the course of his career, 306 TDs. Argo fans like to see him get 4 or 5 more today.
They certainly would, and end this 3-game losing streak here at home in Toronto. Bring it in. They're at the X, heading into BMO Field for this, the final game of Week 9 here in the CFL on TSN. Welcome to it. Rod Smith along with a panel of Matt Dunnigan and Milt Stegall. Well, we talked about the X going on behind us. Let's talk about the X factor now, and that would have to be Ricky Ray. They missed him last week. That offense could not produce. They lost the game 21-9. So now he's back. What kind of a difference does this make to Toronto?
This team has hope. You know, the offense thinks now we can score. The defense knows that their offense is going to help them out. Special teams, all the fans, everyone knows that they have opportunity.
Receivers are engaged.
Oh, everyone's happy. Now you think about it. You go through an entire week. You work your butt off. You're watching film. You're conditioning. You're doing everything right. If Ricky Ray is not there with the backups they have, they don't have an opportunity. Now Ricky Ray gives them that opportunity to go out there and win a game.
Yeah, you heard him on that clip in the opening saying that he feels better. Well, he doesn't have a choice. Ricky Ray needs to be healthy, and they ramped up his healing process in a big way. It's going to be tested against this tough Montreal defense, and you know, the old adage is the absence makes the heart grow fonder. Well, what we saw last week, my heart grew a lot more for Ricky Ray because he is their hope for the future, and it's the biggest game that they've played since he came over here in a trade 5 years ago, and I absolutely love what he brings to the table and how he leads his football team.
Well, this is a big one. Montreal looking for the home-and-home sweep and also undisputed as first in the CFL East if the Alouettes can win it. Jack of Lethbridge, Alberta. You could win a $25,000 home theater package from Visions Electronics if the kickoffs return for a touchdown in this game, thanks to Safeway Sobeys $1 Million touchdown to win promotion. And if it happens a second time, well, Hugh, you could also be in store for $1 million. Good luck. Rod Black and Dwayne Ford will have the call after this.
Week 9 comes to a conclusion in the Canadian Football League this season. We are at the exhibition, hardly an exhibition game though, the Alouettes and Argonauts, and near the midway, the biggest prize at BMO Field today is first place in the East.
And we've got a couple of Hall of Famers contesting this when Ricky Ray makes his return to the Toronto Argonauts starting lineup. Sat out last week with a shoulder injury. There you see the latest milestone on his list, 3 touchdowns away from becoming the Argonauts' all-time leader in TD passes. And of course, Nick Lewis continues his chase for the Canadian Football League's all-time receiving crown. Over 1,000 career catches, currently number 3 all-time. Needs just 4 to pass Ben Cahoon on that list.
Nick getting ready. Jacques Chapdelaine and his Alouettes coming off that win last week, 21-9. Back at Molson Stadium in Montreal. These teams will meet again in September. So a big game today. The Argos try to even the season series with their Eastern counterparts, and the former Alouettes coach, Mark Trestman, looking for a W for his Argos, who wear white today. Steph Logan is back. The Argos won the toss, deferred to the second half. The wind is blowing. The skies are clear. Here we go at BMO. Logan back near his 10-yard line. finds a gap and up near the 36-yard line where the birthday boy, Darian Durant, turning 35 today, brings his offense on the field.
You heard the boys talk about it in pregame, as Milt Stiegel mentioned. Darian Durant having found a new lease on life here in Montreal. He's really starting to settle in, particularly over the course of his last 3 games running this offense.
This offense, by the way, the most proficient offense on first down in the CFL. They average 7.3 yards on their first downs, which makes the second down conversions a whole lot better. Durant with Terrell Sutton in the backfield. Goes to the air right away, and there's Sutton with a one-handed grab. Snags that, but there's a flag in the backfield.
It looked like D-tackle Dylan Wynn might have been hauled down here in the middle of this Argo pass rush.
Holding. Montreal number 58. It's 10-yard penalty. Still first down.
Tim Croker is our head referee today.
As we take a look at this Montreal Alouette lineup, Sam Giguère draws back into the lineup, an extra Canadian receiver for them as they go to 3 Americans on that offensive line. That's Jeremy Lewis. Made 29 starts at right tackle for Hamilton over the last couple of seasons. He's in at left guard with the injury to Philippe Gagnon, and of course Philip Blake already on the 6-game injured list.
So that penalty backs them up 10. They'll go 1st and 20. Durant back to pass. Tries to zip one through, and that should have been picked. What a great chance for Matt Black, who's back with the Argos again as their free safety. And the Toronto guy can't get the interception.
Yeah, you'll see the reaction of Matt Black. He's dropping deep to help out. I think that one even caught him off guard in terms of how far off target it was with the receiver B.J. Cunningham working inside.
Black out of Saginaw Valley State from the GTA. 3 career interceptions through a great career here in Toronto. And Durant had his arm rocked, and he's knocked to the turf. And that will bring out the kick team. Boris Beatty will come out, and so the Alouettes get nowhere here.
Well, once again, Dylan Wynn, number 98 in the middle of that defensive line, having a huge impact. This is a guy who got an opportunity largely due to injuries. Alan Michael Cash wasn't available to start the season. Ken Bishop got hurt early on, and Wynn, the rookie out of Oregon State, has been a force.
Martise Jackson dropped at the 50-yard line, and another penalty flag on the play. Daryl Townsend made the tackle. Here's 37-year young Ricky Ray, who returns to the Argos lineup, did not play last week.
Yeah, injured a couple weeks ago against the Calgary Stampeders. Sat out the first of this back-to-back matchup against Montreal.
Illegal block. Toronto number 82. 10-yard penalty. It's first down.
We'll have to watch the amount of penalties. These are 2 of the most undisciplined teams in the league. 2 of the lowest ranked teams in terms of taking a lot of penalties and giving up a lot of penalty yardage. Discipline has been an issue. So Ray back on the field where he got hurt a couple weeks ago, pancaked by the Stampeders. Some thought he might be gone for longer than a week. Declan Cross out of the backfield. Big Canadian fullback, has about 6 or 7.
Look at the Argos supporting cast. Monty Edwards is a guy who's perhaps flown under the radar a little bit with the big year by S.J. Green, but has been a very reliable receiver for Ricky Ray. And keep an eye on that offensive line as they look to beef up their protection. Veteran leader of that group, Tyler Holmes, number 57 at guard.
Cody Fajardo comes in for the short yardage play, as he was doing early in the season. They'll hand it off, though, to Brandon Whitaker, who is stuffed almost at that first down marker. They're going to give him a good spot. They'll give him the first down. And Brandon Whitaker coming off his most productive week as an Argo in this new season.
Take a look now at the Montreal Alouette defense. Jabbar Westerman draws in at defensive tackle. He'll be alongside Ray Drew in the middle. Kai Hebert was a monster against this team last week. He and Brandon Whitaker frequently going head-to-head. The rookie Dondre Wright starts at free safety.
Whitaker, the former Montreal Alouette running back. Really a dual back, dual threat. First down this time. They only pick up a couple, but Whitaker had 96 yards on the ground last week in the loss in Montreal.
And you saw the Argos on first down, leaving their big team in there from the short yardage situation. Jamal Campbell, the extra O lineman, as well as fullback Declan Cross. Little change-up.
Argos second last in second down conversions. Not this time, though. Armani Edwards brings it in and puts it into Montreal territory.
Take a close-up look at Ricky Ray. Throwing motion looks pretty natural coming off that shoulder injury. And there is the aforementioned Armonte Edwards, former college quarterback. His days at Appalachian State. Former Walter Payton Award winner as the top Division I AA Player of the Year.
17-yard gain. And a guy who the Argos have been calling on a lot this season, S.J. Green, who used to be with the Alouettes, of course, had his knee surgically repaired last year, and Ricky Ray just took a vicious shot.
Well, he sure did. Helmet to helmet shot there right on the ear hole. No call. That was on his completion of play earlier.
Jesse Joseph lowering the boom on Ray. It's 2nd and 2. And the hole opens for Whitaker. Another first down. A good drive here for Ray and the Argos. So Ricky Ray, again, he's kind of been like the bionic man through his career. Really in Toronto, he's been rebuilt so many times, has had problems with the shoulder and other injuries. And when he went down a couple of weeks ago, were you surprised that he was back so soon?
A little bit, given what the history has been in recent years for Ricky Ray. Obviously, injuries have become a concern during his time in Toronto since 2012.
Play action against the grain. Back to S.J. Green, who's having a career year. And by the way, this guy's had an outstanding career.
Well, S.J. Green, we were joking before this game about S.J. Green as comeback player of the year, the unofficial comeback player of the year. But I mean, he might be the comeback player of the decade, given the stage of his career that he is at, to go through a serious knee injury the way he did and return at arguably an even higher level.
S.J. in motion. Argos last in the CFL in the red zone inside the 20. Operating at only 34%. Going for touchdowns here, often settling for field goals. One of the reasons Lirim Hajrullahu has had so many field goals this season. But the Argos also did not have Ricky Ray in this situation last week.
We know the value of an experienced quarterback, certainly in this league, when you know you're going to be throwing the ball 30, 40 times a game. You see so many looks defensively. There is no substitute for that experience.
9th play of the drive. Ray looks end zone. Jump ball. Oh, that's caught. S.J. Green does it again. He makes the ordinary look extraordinary and the extraordinary look ordinary.
Well, he took it to a whole new level on this one. Just the sense of poise with the ball in the air. I mean, S.J. Green is the master of the contested catch. But just no panic whatsoever that's going to lead the defense to react early to this football. Waits until the last second, kind of lets the defender overrun him. Goes up and high points that football for an Argonaut touchdown.
Lirim Hajrullahu boots it through towards the lake. Perfect on his one-point converts this season. What a drive. Ricky Ray is back. The Argos couldn't be happier. So too S.J. Green. The CFL on TSN is brought to you by the Nissan Titan, official vehicle of the Canadian Football League. Oh, what a day at the X and what a day at BMO Field. Both tickets today honored. You get to go to the X, you get to go to the football game. And here's a guy who makes it look like a circus every day. S.J. Green, 4th touchdown of the season, 46th career touchdown. 42 of those, of course, were with the Montreal Alouettes. Steph Logan spinning. That was Dakota Prukop, one of the backup quarterbacks, also the gunner on the special team this time, making that tackle.
Well, taking a look back at that touchdown, here's Kai Hebert, and he's got a pretty good idea that the ball's going to S.J. Green, the front receiver, all the way. That's where he's looking. You're going to see another deep route go right down the seam, right beside him. But he passes that one up because he anticipates in this part of the field. Ricky Ray's going to S.J. Green, but even with Hebert coming over to help out Tyree Hollins, S.J. Green's still going to make that catch in traffic.
307th career touchdown pass for Ricky Ray. Terrell Sutton goes right side, has 5 yards on that run.
Well, this Toronto Argonaut defense, we've called his name already a few times, defensive tackle Dylan Wynn. He's held down the fort from that D tackle spot. He'll get some support with Alan Michael Cash returning to the lineup as well. Marcus Ball and Bear Woods, 2 veterans, aggressive physical players in the linebacking corps. Rico Murray, the former Hamilton Tiger Cat, lends his experience to a young secondary.
Second down for Durant. Moves the pocket, has some running room if he wants it. Now he tosses it out, and he gives it to Nick Lewis. And a penalty flag as well. You can add another 15 to that. Marcus Ball knocking Nick Lewis out, and Lewis now 2 catches away from tying Ben Cahoon for second all-time.
Face mask. Toronto number 6. 15 yards out at the end of the play, an automatic first down.
Well, Marcus Ball got caught as Nick Lewis jammed on the brakes, anticipating that most receivers in that situation are going to run out of bounds. Nick Lewis, of course, he doesn't really do that. He's looking for a little bit of contact.
Great play by the Owls. It's the Argos bit. Sutton. Marcus Ball wraps him up and brings him down near the line of scrimmage. A pickup of 1 on the play. Trademark Fang mouthguard for Terrell Sutton. CFL rushing leader 2 seasons ago, but has been sharing the rock. Brandon Rutley, who's not dressed today, in Montreal's backfield, and Sutton's had some injury issues too. Second down and 9. Right at the midfield stripe. Argos rush 4. Durant fires over the top. Plowing his way close to that first down marker again is Terrell Sutton, who has been used quite a bit so far here today.
And we don't usually expect to see Sutton that involved as a receiver in the passing game. Perhaps something of a key breaker for this Alouette offense here today. Former CFL rushing champ, guarded by many as one of the toughest guys in this league to tackle.
So it will be 3rd down. Durant will go behind center. Luc Brodeur-Jourdain. 3rd down gamble here for the Alouettes. Hands it off, and it's Sutton again. Easily has the first down. Justin Tuggle brought him down. And we'll be watching, of course, with great interest over the next few weeks, this man on the verge of history.
And there are the numbers as he chases another former great Alouette, Ben Cahoon, on that receiving list. Just remarkably similar numbers for 2 drastically different types of receiver.
1st and 10 again for the Owls. From from the 45. Trying to hum it in is Durant. Looking for B.J. Cunningham, who was knocked down. Drastically different receivers, but Nick Lewis is a drastically different person than he was when he broke into the league, and he's still so effective.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, if you do look for similarities between Lewis and Cahoon, certainly number one on the list would be their consistency. You don't get to the point that they've achieved in their respective careers without producing year in and year out. You think about Nick Lewis out of the gate in his career, 9 straight 1,000-yard seasons.
Second down. Once again, it's Sutton. High stepping for another first down. So Terrell Sutton having an impact early in this first quarter as the Alouettes look to answer that early Argo touchdown.
All right, here's one of the big matchups of this ball game. You've got Sean Lemon versus Javon Olafioye, two of the best in the Canadian Football League at their respective positions. Olafioye does a nice job leaning on Lemon, even though the D-end got the edge on him. Nice job leaning on him. Drive him far enough to allow Darian Durant time to release that football.
Alouettes took the early lead last week, never relinquished it. Terrell Sutton with another touch. 6 so far in this game. Half the first down yardage. They'll line up again inside the 30 for second down here. George Johnson coming into the game.
Just a subtle little thing that Darian Durant does here is after he fakes the handoff, he's going to continue on a bootleg action here. That forces the defensive end to widen and hold up. He can't crash down. Essentially, Darian Durant becomes the blocker to occupy the contained man, Justin Tuggle, so he can't crash down and take away that run lane.
Durant, and hands it off again. Another catch by Nick Lewis, and it looked like Durant got hammered as he threw that football. There's a penalty flag. It's against the Argos, and Nick Lewis moves even closer to Ben Cahoon.
Major foul, roughing the passer. Toronto, number 98. Half the distance to the goal, automatic first down.
You get a look at Dylan Wynn coming right down the hash mark. He's the man who gets called for that roughing the passer call. You saw the left hand come up high on the helmet of Darian Durant. As for Nick Lewis, this is an indication of the trust that Darian Durant has in his fellow veteran on this Alouette offense, is just to put it out there as he's being hit and trust that even with a man draped on his back, Nick Lewis is going to find a way to go and get it.
Inside that red zone or green zone. Looking end zone. Durant, corner route. B.J. Cunningham can't get to that. That was overthrown, so it's going to be second down. Nick Lewis will check back in along with George Johnson. Johnson had his first CFL touchdown last week. Back home to play.
Yeah, an Ontario native from London, Ontario, of course, George Johnson. Former Western Mustang. Varsity football and basketball athlete. Third-round pick of the Alouettes in 2016.
Second down and 10. Durant now fires to the goal line, and it's picked off. Cassius Vaughn's got some running room. Look out here. And down he goes. Johnson makes the tackle. Cassius Vaughn saves a touchdown. Big turnover right at the goal line. Cassius Vaughn's second interception of the season. And the Argos prevent points and still lead 7-0.
Ernest Jackson was the intended receiver on that one. And it's going to be kind of a smash route where he fakes outside and tries to cut back under the defender. The key to this play is that Darian Durant is anticipating the timing of the throw, but the defender, Cassius Vaughn, doesn't bite as far as expected. He never doesn't overrun it, and Ernest Jackson isn't able to get inside position on him. Vaughn had the body to the inside and is in perfect position to intercept that throw.
Ricky Ray looks one way, throws the other to Armani Edwards. Interesting to note, the Alouettes had a clean game last week. No turnovers for the first time in 5 games.
Hey, shout out to the 5% Nation. Shout out to my pop, baby, mama, kids. Love y'all. Ain't no mysteries in this word. It's all real. Everything in the field.
Cassius Vaughn from Memphis, Tennessee, played at Ole Miss. But yes, Darian Durant, turnover free, no picks, but in this first drive, which was a good drive up until that point, throws one here. And this is up for grabs and almost picked off as it was deflected at the line of scrimmage straight up in the air, and Kyrie Seber was hunting football.
Yeah, had great defensive plays both ways. The Alouettes with the tip at the line of scrimmage, and then it was Tyler Holmes, the left guard, who prevents Kai Hebert from pulling this one down.
Lirim Hajrullahu, sky-high boot. Steph Logan right near the sideline. Nowhere to roam. A 5-yard return on a 47-yard kick. Nick Lewis making history this season. Matthew Shinetti will have more on Quick Nick next. 1,016 career CFL receptions, just as many nicknames for the great Nick Lewis. Here's Matthew Shinetti.
Absolutely, Rod. You used one of them before the break, and we spoke to Nick Lewis before the game. And given the fact he's getting so close to Ben Cahoon on that reception list, he is also starting to think about his legacy. And there's another nickname that people usually use to describe Nick Lewis, and as he gets older into his career, he isn't as fond of the other one because he says sometimes his body type and his talent feels like people are wrapping a compliment with a joke. At this point, Nick Lewis wants to be known as a high-performance athlete with high impact. His body type and how he looks, he says, he should be discarded because of what he has proven throughout his career. It doesn't matter what shape or size you are, and Lewis told us about the impact you have on the field. Guys?
All right, thank you, Matt. All right, we will not call him that anymore. In a couple of weeks, we are going to call him the King.
Number 1.
The King. He is now 13 receptions away from tying G. Roy Simon. He's a catch away from tying Ben Cahoon, second all-time.
What a remarkable career it has been for Nick Lewis, and almost like 2 remarkable careers. You kind of think pre-ankle injury, post-ankle injury that's where he had to kind of reinvent himself.
Remember the Grey Cup a couple of years ago? I talked with Nick Lewis before that game, and Nick Lewis thought that would be his final game in the Canadian Football League. And I remember how emotional he was after the Stampeders had won that Grey Cup. And of course, times changed, scenery changed. He came to Montreal, and he continues to do one thing: catch footballs and punish people when he catches footballs.
Yeah, definitely has always been a very physical player. We used to see it more so in his blocking than with his play carrying the football after the catch.
I like what Matt Shinetti was saying and talking with Nick, and again, we were having fun with his nickname everybody has. And his body type is a lot different than it was. He's more fullback, almost more linebacker than he was receiver a few years ago. But we've talked with Nick the last couple of years, and here is a guy who's in a spinning class almost daily. This is a high-performance athlete. It's one of the reasons that he's been able to stay on so long and go after this record, which, by the way, right now, no other receiver in the league is even close.
Yeah, I mean, Nick's success isn't something that has happened by accident or, just a stroke of luck by any stretch. This is a guy who takes his preparation very, very seriously during the offseason, takes care of himself in season.
Here's a guy who also can chirp with the best of them, and Nick is going to join.
My friend Jason Bourne. This is Jason Bourne. Bourne ultimatum. Bourne supremacy. You see Jason Bourne right here? Jason Bourne gonna do some shit.
Tim Croker.
Hey, they want to see you run on the ball for like 2 minutes.
Nick Lewis has talked about Tim Croker quite a bit, saying that he does look like
I lose ounces, not pounds. Come on,
Hollywood
I can
actor.
talk about me better than you can talk about me.
We better go to something else before that language gets a little blue, as Nick is sometimes prone to do. But he could join Ben Cahoon, who he has the ultimate respect for. And this is not good news right here, as one of the Argos is being carted off.
Yeah, Kwasi Owusu-Ansah starting corner for the Argos, and this is a tough one to watch, as this is a guy been a terrific defensive back now in his third year with the team, but missed almost all of last season due to injury, and you can just see the dejection in his face as he's being carted off the field.
Great young player.
Small college guy, played Division II football at IUP, Indiana University of Pennsylvania.
Play won't get off here. Players jumping at the line.
Procedure. Montreal number 51. It's a 5-yard penalty. It's still second down.
37 seconds remain first quarter. Loud crowd here today.
Matt Black has slid out from free safety to the field corner to replace Owusu-Ansah.
You go to that far side. Ernest Jackson's first catch of the afternoon. Terrence Plummer out of Central Florida, first to get to E-Jack.
Well, Ernest Jackson has so often here in the first part of his Montreal Alouettes career actually lined up at wideout, but here getting a little more of an opportunity to play inside, particularly with Sam Giguere, who's primarily a wideout, coming back into the lineup. We'll see if that results in even more looks for E-Jack than he's had thus far.
Depending on penalty, could be the final play first quarter, and Terrell Sutton has really carried the mail here for the Alouettes so far, but the Owls shut out in this opening frame. The Argos have the only score so far. A little different than last week in Montreal, where the Alouettes led early. It was S.J. Green, the former Al, opening scoring for the Argos. The Canadian National Exhibition. A couple of big drives by both teams in the rematch from last week. 8 days ago they met in Montreal. The Alouettes won 21-9. The Argos, the lone score on a big drive engineered by Ricky Ray. And all eyes, Dwayne Ford, were on Ricky Ray and his shoulder early on. And I would say so far that shoulder has passed the test.
Yeah, there's no question of that. Ricky Ray, very sharp 5-for-5 drive to lead the Argos on that drive, which resulted in S.J. Green's touchdown. I don't think there's been any concern in terms of the way he's thrown the football. He hasn't looked awkward. He hasn't appeared to be attempting to protect it in any sort of way. So definitely a good sign for the Argos through the first 15.
Took a big shot to the helmet in that drive as well. But didn't face the pressures he certainly faced a couple of weeks ago against Calgary. Alouette ball to start the second quarter. On second down, that would have tied Ben Cahoon. 1,017 for Nick Lewis, but it's incomplete. No doubt that should happen today. And the Owls will bring their kick team out. Talked about the wind blowing towards the lake here from north to south. So Boris Beattie and his booming foot trying to trap Martese Jackson. Jackson tiptoeing. And there's a flag. As he took a shot, he was actually out of bounds when he was hit. So unnecessary roughness likely here. And an extra 15 on that return for Martese Jackson.
Well, I actually think it may have thrown the Alouette player, because Jackson was still going full speed for about 10 or 15 yards once he was clearly on that sideline stripe.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness. Montreal number 40. 15-yard penalty. First down, Toronto.
That's Naomi Kankalongo, backup linebacker for the Alouettes. You see Jackson is out. He's still running full tilt. But I think even regardless of the timing of the hit, going helmet to helmet on that one warrants the flag.
Ricky Ray will operate against the wind this time. Near the 42. Play action out of the backfield is Martese Jackson. And a nice cut and a first down for about 12 or 13 yards. And he makes the Alouettes miss. Tiny guy from Asheville, North Carolina, just 5 feet 6 inches. Played at Florida Atlantic.
The Argos are going off play action here. They had a run fake to Jackson in the backfield before doing kind of a throwback. It ends up being almost like a play action screen type of thing, but to throw to him in the flat, because this is the guy you want to get the ball in space. So that's his 7th reception of the year.
4 receivers to the right. Ray looking there. Now pulls it back. Ray now throws it away. And he took a shot again as he tried to deliver the football. Don Ramasian was able to close in on Ricky Ray. No penalty on the play.
Well, nice job here by Martese Jackson. You mentioned how small he is. He's involved in the protection here, because the important thing for the Argos is they can't just put him in a special package where every time he's on the field on offense and in the backfield he's going to get the ball. He's got to be able to block and do the things in the regular offense in order to set up those other things that make him successful.
Ray zips one in over the top. Back to Mr. Reliable again, S.J. Green. And on that second down play, Green, who's so good and was so good in Montreal through the years with Anthony Calvillo on second downs, converts here.
S.J. Green lines up as number 2 into the boundary. On this one, just wraps it around the middle linebacker, Tavel, on that hook route.
Ray cutting back now. Just dishes it off. There's Jackson again, and Martese Jackson's getting a couple of touches. Here's a guy who's predominantly been used as a returner for the Argos, but heavily involved today. He's kind of been the Terrell Sutton of the Argos.
But this is how you can use Martese Jackson offensively, though. You want to give him that ball in space. It takes advantage of the same skills that make him a good kick returner. So quick with his change of direction, small target, low center of gravity. You just see guys overcommitting to every fake he makes.
Another little screen, Declan Cross. How do you stop this guy? You can't. It is a touchdown. Penalty flag down. Declan Cross plays bulldozer.
I have loved watching the growth and development of Declan Cross here in his 2nd CFL season. His role seems to grow a little bigger every week as he earns the trust of his coach, Mark Trestman.
What is the call? Everybody waiting. Is it a touchdown or is this coming back? Flag was thrown near the 20-yard line. 5 feet 11 inch, 230-pound native of just down the road in Oakville, played at McMaster, 4th round pick of the Argos.
4 yards a gain, holding. Toronto, number 10. It's a 10-yard penalty, still first down.
So it takes away Cross's 2nd CFL touchdown.
And you'll see Declan Cross turn the corner here. That's our Monty Edwards who gets flagged. He's locked up with Jonathan Mincy. He's held on a little bit too long there. He gets flagged. A less terrific effort.
And the right call.
Cross.
Definitely a hold.
Yeah, and you know what? It's hard to ever get mad at your receivers for making an effort like that to block downfield.
So they move it back 10. It'll be 1st and 20 for the Argos. From the 35. Good protection for Ray this time. Fires up to the field side. Monty Edwards sideswipes one tackle, but not another. Still doesn't get to the initial line of scrimmage. Has 6.
And this is one of the first balls we've seen where Ricky Ray has had to put a little bit of heat on it. zipping it out to the wide side. Appeared to do so very comfortably.
There's a guy who used to throw footballs, as you mentioned, Dwayne, in college. Great quarterback there, real dual threat, running and throwing. Armani Edwards at Appalachian State. Some big wins there. Ray going hunting, looking near end zone. Oh, it's caught again! He's done it again! What a catch by S.J. Green!
Come on, man.
Insert your best adjective. Sensational catch again by S.J. Green.
And I'll tell you, Rod, the thing that stands out to me on this one is just the concentration of S.J. Green. You see receivers all the time work on things like tip drills, and of course, contested catches, such a huge part of the receiver's job in today's Canadian Football League. But it's just the fact that the play by the defender on the ball comes so close to him here. But Green just stays with it all the way for his second TD of the game.
High point, jump ball catch. 50-50 ball, and 50-50 with S.J. Green is usually 90-10 and results in 6. S.J. in the house again. The greenhouse in Toronto.
And S.J. Green has his second touchdown catch of the game. He's right on that right edge of your screen. He's going to run what looks like a bit of a real wheel route. They're against zone coverage here. You've got Jeff Fuller and Armonte Edwards clearing things off. Brandon Stewart's the man who peels off to pick him up. S.J. Green just plain out jumps him for that ball, picks it off the top of the hands of Brandon Stewart for the major.
14-0, and Steph Logan loses it. The Argos have it, and they will score. Justin Tuggle scoops and scores. The Argos riding the wave right now, and Steph Logan muffs this.
Well, Rod, you talked earlier about the Alouettes' perfect game last week in avoiding turnovers, and we know this is the stat most closely tied to wins and losses. You win the turnover battle, you win the game. And plays like this, the reason why the Toronto Argonauts are up by 20 right now.
Souvenir for Justin Tuggle, his dad, of course, a former NFLer and a Pro Bowler. Jesse Tuggle and Lirim Hajrullahu, as we said, perfect on 32-yard converts. Perfect place, perfect time. Coming on the heels of S.J. Green's second of the game. And the Argos have now put up as many points as they had scored against them last week.
And here we'll take another look at Justin Tuggle's first CFL touchdown.
And let's take a look at S.J. Green's latest masterpiece. Ridiculous.
Well, the year of the catch continues here in the Canadian Football League. Brandon Stewart right in his hip pocket. Was with him all the way. But you see the faith that Ricky Ray has in S.J. Green, much like we talked about the trust between Darian Durant and Nick Lewis. A couple of veteran guys, they've seen each other do it plenty of times before.
So let's see, Duron Carter, Brian Burnham, Garvin Adams, the list, the top 10. S.J. Green might have 3 of those catches in the top 10 already. Against the win, Hajrullahu. Steph Logan will make sure he secures the rock this time. What a cut, and another cut. Logan up near the 35-yard line, and a huge hole here in this first half for the Montreal Alouettes. We did not see this coming. The Owls, who dominated the Argos last week, and keep in mind, an Argo team without their quarterback. And already today, Ricky Ray is looking like he never left.
Yeah, what a difference Ray makes at the helm of this offense. 11 of 13, 149 yards, 2 touchdown passes to S.J. Green. Green, by the way, accounting for 83 of those 149 yards through the air.
Alouettes now have to answer. They'll likely abandon any running game that they had, and they had success on the ground because they are down by 3 scores. So it's not a very good birthday bash so far for Darian Durant, but there's a lot of ball game left. Keep in mind the Alouettes so close to tying this game early on, and Cassius Vaughn pilfering that ball at the goal line. Toronto fans loving this so far today, but Durant trying to silence them, and there is 1,017 for Nick Lewis. Now locked with Ben Cahoon, second all-time in CFL history, most receptions.
And another one in traffic across the middle. You know, and so much has been said as, you know, people talk about the value of Nick Lewis, the evolution of Nick Lewis, what he brings to the table at this stage in his career. And so much of it is what you just saw in the last play. Just intelligence, football IQ, understanding of defensive coverages, knowing where to sit down and find that open spot.
Alouettes had 3rd and a yard, elected to kick. Jackson shakes the tackle. Martese Jackson, who's had a return for a touchdown on a kick this season. Nick Lewis tied with Ben Cahoon, 1 away from second all-time in CFL history. Coming up at halftime, GMC Professional Grade Playbook, Henry Burris, the high-stress life of the DB, and some extra stress for the DBs of the Alouettes, who, by the way, normally ball-hawking Montreal Alouettes secondary only has 1 interception this season. That's almost unheard of from the outs. Jonathan Mincy. Their defense needs to turn the tide here. Argos are having their way. Defensive touchdown. 2 scores by S.J. Green, who had a souvenir for his wife who's in the stands. Now second down, and Ricky Ray can really put the hammer down in the first half here if he can add some more points to this tally.
Yeah, Argos have grabbed something they didn't have at any point in last week's matchup, which is momentum.
Those did not score an offensive touchdown. Alouettes got back in time. Looked like offside for a moment. That looked like offside there too. No call though. And once again, S.J. hauling it in for a first down.
See just a quick hitter. Green will come left to right across your screen. Just a quick under route. Allows Ricky Ray to get that ball out of his hands quickly. Obviously, the Argos want to limit the pressure on their quarterback coming off of injury.
Ray virtually untouched so far. And once again, S.J. Green, another first down. Now 7 catches, moving closer to 100 yards, and we're not even at halftime. This could be a career day for Solomon Jr. Green.
Ray to Green has kind of been the story of the Toronto Argonaut offense here in the first half. You think back to their opening game here, Rod, against Hamilton, and it was right from the get-go. Ray and Green hadn't had an opportunity to work together in the preseason, but yet somehow the chemistry between these 2 veteran guys was just instantaneous. First drive of the season, they connected for a couple of great hookups.
Oh, what a leap! Brandon Whitaker of faith as he takes off the high hurdle. Scampers for a first down. This is how you broad jump over a defensive line.
Yeah, I love this move from Brandon Whitaker. A couple of nice blocks there. Chris Van Zyl got his man down on the ground, creating that opportunity for B. Witt to go airborne. A big first down run.
Argos threatening again in this battle for first place in the CFL East. Alouettes load up the box, anticipating a pass. Here comes the blitz, and Anthony Coombs' first touch of the day. And Coombs still on his feet. Made something out of what looked like nothing. And Coombs, who's having this breakout season for the Toronto Argonauts, mostly because of opportunity, but also working with Ricky Ray, who he loves.
Yeah, well, Ricky Ray being healthy obviously helps all of the Toronto Argonauts receivers, but Anthony Coombs, now in his 4th year in the Canadian Football League, become a veteran guy, has become a very reliable receiver, and he talks about, you know, the trust that the coaches and the quarterbacks have in him. He's been given an opportunity, he's made the most of it here in 2017.
Versatile scat back, play action, another screen, working to perfection, and Coombs brought down. Will be short of a first down. Trying to spin through that. Chip Cox, the Alouettes' all-time leading tackler. Looks like he'll hold the Argos shy of the first down. It's going to be 3rd down here and a yard. They've already got Fajardo out. There is not any hesitation from the Argo bench to bring out Hairelahu. They're going after this, trying to keep this going. Fajardo came in relief last week, and Fajardo is stuffed. And they may have to measure this. Fajardo had the ball down near his midsection. Argos think they got it. But if they got it, it was pretty close. It is a first down.
Get a close-up look. Great shot from the cable cam here at the action at the line of scrimmage. You see the ground that Fajardo gained.
I think he may have actually had a little more progression on his back, and that's how he got that first down. So Ray back out on the field. He's already thrown 2 touchdown passes this afternoon. Little wing formation, cluster formation. Declan Cross is going to score! Touchdown, Argos! Declan Cross gets one back.
Yeah, but Declan Cross isn't the guy who gets to keep that football. This one goes to Ricky Ray, number 99 of his Toronto Argonaut career.
Now number 1 all time.
Yeah, moves him past the great Condredge Holloway. The first place on the Argo list.
Lirim Hairelahu. The Argos setting sail here today. They are taking it to the Alouettes. Hat-trick of passes for Ricky Ray. And how about the screen tosses today? Slicing and dicing Declan Cross. And the Argos lead 28-0. Ricky Ray, all-time Argo touchdown passing leader, moves past Condredge Holloway, Damon Allen on the list, Doug Flutie. Now 309 career touchdown passes.
Yeah, that's some pretty impressive company. And, you know, for so many people who identify with Ricky Ray as an Edmonton Eskimo, where he had so many great years at the start of his career, amazing to see him as the Toronto Argonauts all-time leader in various passing categories.
Hey, everybody, family, love you.
Declan Cross, that mop of hair, finds its way to the end zone. This was lined out of bounds. Not a good kick by Lirim Hairelahu. Tried to keep that under the wind. It'll give the Alouettes good field position. Montreal Alouettes have a huge mountain here today to climb. 28-zip. 5 seconds away from the 3-minute warning before halftime. Have to find a way to put some points on the board.
Well, this field position will help on this drive, certainly, with the ball going out of bounds. on the kickoff. The Alouettes will take over at their own 45.
Alouette team, again, winning handily. Percival Molson last week. Jeff Matthews and Cody Fajardo, the quarterbacks. Now Darian Durant's in trouble. Swarmed and sacked. Dylan Wynn gets home again. 4th sack of the season for Dylan Wynn.
Dylan Wynn continues to earn his playing time on that Argonaut defensive line. Position certainly where they had a lot of depth coming into camp, but this guy has proven worthy of being a starter in this group.
3-minute warning. The onslaught continues. The misery continues for the Alouettes offense. Dylan Wynn takes down Darian.
3 minutes till halftime, a half completely dominated so far by the Toronto Argonauts. Coming up, Matt and Milt with their thoughts on the difference Ricky Ray is making. SJ Green getting some revenge this time around, and the mistakes the Alouettes are making. That's opened this game up that much more. Back to Rod and Dwayne.
Rod and the Mimes coming up at halftime. Looking forward. Great to have the guys down here as always at BMO Field. Really one of the most intimate, best stadiums around. Darian Durant chucking it sideline and almost picked. Was looking for BJ Cunningham. Terrius Ford was there, went leaping, and frustration mounts now for the Alouettes offense. And isn't it crazy how this game has gone? You think back to how the scope of this first half was altered by that interception by Cassius Vaughn.
Yeah, with the Alouettes driving and starting to gain some momentum of their own, that completely turned things. The Argos really haven't looked back.
Big boot. Boris Beatty to Martese Jackson. Jackson kicking it outside here. Trying to turn it on, and he will. And Martese Jackson still dancing. Had a run about 60 yards to pick up 15. But a great return here at BMO Field today. There's Prime Minister Stephen Harper. Big CFL fan. Games at TD Place Stadium in Ottawa. He was there every single game.
I was going to say, now, I thought he was supposed to be a Red Blacks fan.
He's a CFL fan today. See that? I know you're looking at the blue shirt, but
good to see.
Great to see Mr. Harper in the crowd today.
Perhaps enjoying a day at the exhibition.
Being in the politics, as long as he was, every day is a day at the exhibition. Anthony Coombs. Dominic Tovel, middle linebacker who took over from Bear Woods, who's now in Toronto. Coombs gets another touch here, close to a first down.
Coombs was a little bit slow getting up after that one. Taken down hard by the Owls rookie middle linebacker.
We will try to get an update from Matthew Shinetti on the sidelines. Remember, it was in his first season, his rookie season, when Anthony Coombs went out of the lineup for the Argos. Was on the shelf with injury when he injured that shoulder. Played just 6 games back in 2014. Looks like it is a first down.
First down.
Mark Trestman and the Argos lighting it up here in the first half, and the Alouettes with no reply so far. It's gaudy numbers that Ricky Ray putting up already. Alouettes are going to need their D to step up. 2-minute offense before halftime. 1st and 10. Ray changes the play, and the Argo on the far side, I don't think hurt him.
Yeah, Malcolm Williams, who was lined up out wide to the right side. The other receivers motioned up and stopped and reset, whereas Williams just kept going.
Former junior football star with the Langley Rams. Also played at UBC.
Yeah,
another basketball
played
guy.
Basketball at UBC. And followed Malcolm Williams' junior career very closely. Very dominant, dynamic player. Playing in the BC junior football loop.
So two sports stars in this game today. And George Johnson
Offside.
and Malcolm
Toronto
Williams.
number 82. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
First and 15 here for the Toronto Argonauts.
Four-man rush. Ray slings it. Jeff Fuller has his first catch near the 50. Near that first down marker. The initial line of scrimmage.
Well, with every week it seems comes a new milestone for Ricky Ray. Tonight he surpasses Conrad Holloway to become the Argonauts all-time leader in touchdown passes with 99. He's got 3 of them tonight, 2 to S.J. Green, and most recently one to his fullback Declan Cross. That's the record breaker.
Cross, who had a touchdown taken back by penalty, gets one back. Penalty flag flies.
Yeah, freebie here. John Bowman jumped.
Ricky Ray tiptoes that line of scrimmage. And incomplete on the far sideline for Armonte Edwards, but it will be against Montreal. And as you said, Ricky Ray had a free play there.
Offside. Montreal number 7. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
And they're attending to Anthony Coombs. There's Scott Shannon, the athletic therapist on the left for the Argos. And based on that, I don't think we're seeing Anthony Coombs in this game anymore. And kind of season this young man was having, that is really tough to take for the Argos.
Such an important part of the offense. Came in today with 44 catches already.
Ray stretching it out. Oh! Why not? S.J. Green and the Ray Green show continues.
Here working against Jalen Rogers, got him turned around, but you know, this one to me is about the touch from Ricky Ray, laying it in there. You know, you kind of have those shades of Ricky Ray to Jason Tucker on the corner route at Commonwealth Stadium. He and S.J. Green have very quickly developed some of that same magic here in Double Blue.
Over a minute to go before halftime. Ray pulls it back again. Out of the backfield. Jimmy Ralph is into the game for Anthony Coombs.
Jimmy Ralph, the latest of the Raymond, Alberta Ralphs to catch passes in the Canadian Football League.
Brothers Brock and Brett, of course, in the CFL for many years.
Yeah, he's getting an opportunity here with Anthony Coombs out of the lineup. Great story. This is a guy that didn't play last season. Sat out what was his draft year, the 2016 college season. Started his college career at Weber State before transferring home to Alberta.
First CFL catch for him. Brock and Brett had a lot of nice CFL catches. Good careers in the Canadian Football League out of Raymond, Alberta.
Yeah, Brock catching a few balls from Ricky Ray in his day, of course. Some suggest Jimmy may actually be the best athlete in the family. Terrific baseball and basketball player as well in high school.
I don't think there were many early dinners in the Ralph house. These kids were outside playing ball, doing something. Hovering near the end zone again. Chance to run it up even more. Ray, quick hitter, touchdown Armonte Edwards. And the route is on in Toronto. We're not even at halftime. And we're a convert away from 35-0.
Oh, what a difference one guy makes when that one guy is your starting quarterback. Nice protection here from that Argo offensive line. Monty Edwards in with his second touchdown of the season. Guy who was acquired in a preseason trade with the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
Hairelahu, normally busy kicking field goals this season, has been doing some kicking today. All converts on 5 touchdowns. Kreskin, you did not see this coming.
I don't think anybody saw this coming. Two teams so close in the East Division standings. For the Toronto Argonauts.
2 weeks ago, we were here on a night game and Ricky Ray was sitting on that bench, forlorn. And a lot of people may have thought that might have been it for the season or a long period of time with that shoulder issue when he was flattened. Now he's back on this bench and looking at that tablet for another touchdown pass. 4 in this game.
A remarkable first half for Ricky Ray and this Argonaut offense. The Alouettes trying to sit back, in essence, to get everybody covered up. They're just going with a 3-man rush here. But Ricky Ray still manages to find somebody, that being our Monty Edwards.
Calgary demolished Hamilton 60-1, the most lopsided game this season a few weeks ago. Shades of that game in this one already. The Argos are pitching a shutout at halftime. Penalty flag down on this return.
And as we talked earlier, Alouettes were pressing early in this football game, but the Argo defense held them off. Cassius Vaughn came up with an interception at his own goal line to snuff out an Alouette drive. Defensive line has gotten after Darian Durant a little bit. Dylan Wynn, the rookie defensive tackle, leading the charge in there.
Return, holding. Montreal number 80. Half the distance to goal. It's first down.
Argos are serious party poopers on Darian Durant's birthday. Could not be worse. 35th birthday, down 35-0.
That's certainly not the gift Durant was looking for.
20 seconds to work with. Try to get something going here. Nick Lewis. Move over Ben Cahoon. Nick Lewis is number 2 all-time CFL receptions list.
Nick knew it right away as he tossed that ball up to the bench. I guess the one positive thing to come out of this first half, Ben Cahoon does it in style. And even Ben Cahoon would be proud of this one-handed snag.
So now the chase is on to knock off Superman.
And then there was one.
G. Roy Simon, who is now 11 receptions away. Nick Lewis still has a half of football. Nick Lewis, though, is the kind of guy, and I know he's looking forward to this. It's going to happen. We know it's going to happen. But he hates this game right now. As good as it feels to go into number 2 all time, his team is getting smoked.
Those individual successes mean so much more when they come along with achieving team goals.
They'll hand it off to Terrell Sutton. Time for one more play, and that was 2nd and 7. 9 seconds to go, and they still did not get the first down. Darian Durant looking to the sideline.
Well, third down, they're going to their two-back offense here. May line up in double tight to just go max protect in the ironically named victory formation here, given the way the first half is going.
So they'll run it out, take the knee, and almost throw in the white towel at the half. There still is another half to play, but it will have to be a complete reversal of fortune for the Alouettes. What a day for Ricky Ray, S.J. Green, and the Argos. 35-0 at the half.
CFL grade and Grey Cup champion Henry Burris with the GMC Professional Grade Playbook.
Relay time, looking downfield, and it's knocked down. Preston Butler with the defensive play intended for Iannuzzi.
You're asked to play bump and run right in a receiver's face. You get your hands on him. Plus, you control his direction on where he can go. After 5 yards, you can't touch him. If you do touch or impede his progression, you'll be flagged for pass interference. However, you have to run full speed to keep up and be ready to break on a second's notice and hopefully break the route up. It's like you're a kid playing follow the leader, but there's no body contact. It can get even tougher when you're going to bump and run and you have a receiver in motion cutting you at your knees. You have to be on your toes so you don't get a knee or ankle injury. You're always on an island and you're asked to cover, prevent, or tackle anything coming in your direction. However, on the flip side, nobody's prettier and nothing is sweeter than catching an interception and dancing the night away. This is the life of a DB. We'll see you in Week 10.
We are at the exhibition, hardly an exhibition game though. The biggest prize at BMO Field today is first place in the East. Ray back on the field where he got hurt a couple weeks ago. Looks in, so jump ball. It's caught. S.J. Green does it again. He makes the ordinary look extraordinary and the extraordinary look ordinary.
With the CNE going on in the background, the exhibition is inside BMO Field, an exhibition of dominant football by Ricky Ray and the Toronto Argonauts. Ray, 21 of 23, 260 yards, 4 touchdown passes, 5 TDs and 7 possessions by the Argos, and let's not forget the defense is pitching a shutout to absolute dominance, 35-0 back here at field level. Rod Smith, Matt Dunnigan, and Milt Stegall. So I facetiously go back to my question before the game. Ricky Ray's back. Do you think he can make a difference, Matt?
Well, I tell you, the tone was set by the defense in the first series of the game, and they got after Darian Durant in three plays, and they punted, and then from that point on, it's been the Ricky Ray show. 21 of 23, 260 yards and 4 touchdowns in the first half, Milt. The guy missed 2 passes. Yeah, he can make a difference, Rod. And I love
we got an answer.
I love the Dwayne Ford's reference to Jason Tucker and Ricky Ray back in Edmonton, Milt.
Yes.
Because we've only seen Ricky and SJ together for going on 8.5 games.
Right.
And you can take one out of that because he didn't play last week.
Right.
So not even 7 games we've seen these guys together, and it seems like they've been together all their life, the chemistry that they have.
And how happy is S.J. Green to have Ricky Ray back? You think about it, last week he had 4 catches for 32 yards. And you know he wanted to get back at his old team. And S.J. is a special player, but I don't care how great you are. If you don't have someone decent throwing you the ball, you're not going to make any plays. And S.J. is taking full advantage of Ricky Ray bringing his quarterback. First half, 2 touchdowns. How many yards did he have? Like 135 yards. They had 142 yards total passing last week. SJ is happy. I'm happy because I have him on my fantasy team, man.
You're killing it at the half. And by the way, I think S.J. Green's kind of happy that given the team he's up against right now. I don't think there's any love lost there.
Without a doubt. He knew it was going to be tough last week to have a big game, so he's doing it this game.
And he's taking the high road, too. You know, heard the interview on the sidelines there, and it's one of those scenarios where SJ is being humble. He's not rubbing his ex-teammates' face. He's letting his play do the talking, and I love that aspect about his game.
Now, the Alouettes, when they're getting steamrolled like this, they can't afford to be making mistakes. That really helped the Argonauts in their momentum.
They're not getting steamrolled. You know my favorite word when somebody's getting beat down like that.
Mollywop.
They're getting mollywop right now. And when you're getting mollywop, you can't create these mistakes for yourself. You have to take advantage when you have opportunities. And they had some opportunities. You think about this play in the red zone. Darian Durant, Ernest Jackson, 2 veterans. Darian Durant is dependent on his receiver to run a great route. and he has a touchdown. Ernest Jackson runs a lazy route. Cassius makes a great play. And then you have Logan, another veteran. And I know these things happen, but they can't happen in this game when you're getting mollywopped. He must have pumped, and what you have right here, Justin Tuggle scoops it up, and that's pretty much the game. I mean, they're down 35-0. They say that no lead is ever safe, but if they come back and win this game, I'm growing my hair back, Rod.
Okay, and I look forward to that. Makes me almost want to cheer for the Alouettes. But I have to ask, how long do you keep Ricky Ray in this game? I know we're only halfway through it. They're up by 35, and they need him.
Yeah, I go a couple more series at least. This football team was desperately looking for some rhythm over the last 3 or 4 weeks, and they found it today. So I'd let that roll a while, but Ricky Ray is the future of this football team. He gives them an opportunity to win week in, week out, and I'd roll him out there a couple more series, Milton, and take him off the field.
Totally agree with you. Let him get a little bit more in that second half, and then it's time to put in who? Fajardo or Matthews or whoever it may be.
Well, it is the CFL, so we'll qualify it that way. As said, a 35-point comeback just to see you
with my
grow
hair
that hair. Go Montreal! A 35-point lead. Back with more at the half at BMO Field in Toronto. Hey, the Argos are doing their part today with 5 touchdowns. Every TD scored today and all season long. Safeway and Sobeys proud to donate $250 to Special Olympics Canada to date. Safeway and Sobeys have donated $58,750. As mentioned, those 5 touchdowns by the Argos and a 35-0 lead at the half. Here's Milt with the stats.
Well, first of all, congratulations to Nick Lewis, moved in the second all-time for receptions. But the story of this first half, without a doubt, Toronto Argonauts. 142 yards passing last week. 260 total in the first half, and S.J. Green, his first multi-touchdown receiving game since October 20th, 2013.
Against his old team, too. Here's what he had to say to Matthew Shinetti.
S.J., you really can't spell intensity without S.J. Green, but looking at the stare you had for the opposite sideline, can you tell us who you were looking at and what that expression was saying?
I was just standing off in the space. I'm just here to play football and have fun doing it. I'm having fun right now.
And you also handed the ball off to your wife after your second touchdown. What was the messaging there?
Just want to let her know I love her. She supports me no matter what, through surgery, through ups, through downs. She's always got my back, and that's my rock, so just want to show her some love.
Are we seeing the full capabilities of this offense with you making the receptions you are and Ricky throwing the ball the way he is?
I'm sorry?
Are we seeing this offense the way it can really excel, the way you're catching the ball, the way Ricky is throwing it?
Absolutely. This is what we want. I mean, we're up 35-0 at half. I don't think we punted the ball the entire first half, so I don't think we can ask for more right now.
Thanks, S.J.
Thank you.
And his quarterback, Ricky Ray, is now the Argos' all-time leader in touchdown passes. He's thrown 4. His Argos lead big time over Montreal at the half. Second half kickoff is coming up.
Argos laying it to the Montreal Alouettes. Yes, at the half, 35-0. Nick Lewis, second now all-time, a milestone moment for him in the first half. He is with Matthew Shinetti.
Nick, what was the message in the locker room?
We got our ass kicked a little bit, didn't we? I mean, as a man, you look at the scoreboard, we have a chance to come out here and get better, and we have to be better. So I'm motivated to come out and be the best I could be. You know, you got to come out and do it. If you're not, then we'll see.
I know you're looking at the scoreboard, and that's the most important thing, but I just saw you take a private moment where you're thinking about what you've achieved today and take us through what was going through your mind.
Oh, man, those achievements don't mean anything when you get your ass whooped like this. You got to come out and play good, solid football. As a team, we have to play better, and we got to capitalize on the moments. It's a big game, and we didn't step up for it. So we got 30 more minutes to prove that we're a better team, and that's our focus right now, to prove that we're a better team.
Excellent.
Indeed.
That is so Nick Lewis, and that first half was so Ricky Ray.
Yeah, it really was Ricky Ray removing all doubt that may have existed about the condition of his shoulder.
Dude, he's 37 years old, just coming off a shoulder injury, a shoulder that's been banged up so many times before. You're not supposed to do that, are you?
A ridiculous first half. 21 of 23, and that wasn't just low-hanging fruit. He threw some balls down the field as well that were completed.
Martese Jackson knocked down near the 21-yard line, so there still is plenty of football, a whole half. Alouettes are going to have to turn the tide here with Ricky Ray, who's thrown for 5 touchdown passes 3 times in his career. Threw for 4 in that first half.
Yeah, 4 of his 21 completions going for touchdowns. 2, of course, to S.J. Green, the master of the contested catch. Declan Cross and Armonte Edwards also chipping in with majors in the opening 30.
Argos will start the second half with a 35-point bulge. Armonte Edwards, Ricky Ray still tossing and still operating at an enormously high percentage.
And I know the boys at halftime had their conversation about how long do you keep Ricky Ray in this football game.
So how long do you keep him in the game?
Thinking back to Mark Trestman's time in Montreal with Anthony Calvillo, you know, now 35 points is a big lead, obviously a lot of time left. But I know Mark's feeling, he always talked about how hard it is to close out games. And we know Anthony didn't come out of a lot of games before they were over. So it'll be very interesting to watch how they handle Ricky Ray's situation here in the second half of this ball game.
There's Anthony Calvillo, quarterback's coach, up here in the press box. Will be in the Hall of Fame this summer, along with Mike O'Shea and G. Roy Simon. Ray talked about Jason Tucker. It's Malcolm Williams making the catch in that first half, and S.J. Green, and that chemistry they have, and that's the kind of chemistry that Anthony Calvillo also had with S.J. Green and others. That touch pass and getting the ball out of your hand quick.
Yeah, it certainly is. Of course, Ben Cahoon, the guy we most closely associate with Anthony Calvillo's success as they arrived in Montreal together in 1998.
First and 10 again. Look, Declan Cross's way, gets it to him. Cross, such a load right up to the 55-yard line. Talked about that Hall of Fame class this year, the Canadian Football Hall of Fame. Calvin Anderson going in. Superman, G. Roy Simon, who, when that Hall of Fame game arrives, could be surpassed by the number of receptions. He's the all-time yardage leader, a record that will take a long time if anybody comes close to that one. And some builders as well, but great first-class Hall of Fame class 2017. One of the few blemishes for Ray, ball that bounced in front of the intended target. Just his 3rd incompletion of the ball game. Tried a seam route that time.
Yeah, we'll let Ricky Ray off the hook for that one. He's been okay the rest of the year.
Yeah, he has. Steph Logan back at the 10-yard line. Alouettes in dire need of a spark. Anything. How about a point? Good kick by Hyra Lahu. Brilliant. Inside the 10-yard line. 3rd time this season for Hyra Lahu. Darian Durant, mountain to climb here at BMO. Week 10 in the CFL around the corner. Summertime tradition. Thursday night football presented by the Brick. Blue Bombers and the Alouettes. 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. Alouettes seeking redemption next Thursday. Of course, it was 3 weeks ago. They coughed one up. Had a lead. Looked like they had the W in Winnipeg. Bombers forged a miracle comeback. Bombers a big win this week over Edmonton. Terrell Sutton carries the rock left side, has about 5 yards.
That was sure an impressive outing by the Winnipeg Blue Bombers earlier this week. Firing on all cylinders offensively.
Nick Lewis now in conversation with Ernest Jackson and B.J. Cunningham. They better hurry here. Just getting this play off, and quick hitter near side for Nick Lewis. Catch 1,018 now. 1,019 catches in his career, so 10 away from G-Roy Simon.
Just nice timing route here. Speed out cut for Lewis. Ball thrown on time by Durant to move those sticks.
Durant floats one to Cunningham far side, trying to get some sort of rhythm. They had it going early in the ball game. If you're with us, 7-0 early Toronto. Alouettes drove back down the field, but then were picked off, and after that it was all downhill.
We talk all the time about that complementary football, the connection between offense, defense, and special teams. And you see a bit of it when one team's offense is really bogged down, the other team's offense starts to roll a little bit. You know, that time of possession, when it gets very one-sided, becomes a real factor in the ball game as you've got an exhausted defense out there simply because their offense isn't giving them a break.
The blitz, Durant was pummeled. Marcus Paul just lowered the boom on Darian Durant, slow to get up. That was not a pleasant birthday greeting.
Marcus Paul, welcome re-addition to this Toronto Argonaut defense here in 2017.
Right in the rib cage.
Coming off the left edge here. Big hit, clean hit, targeting the midsection.
2nd down and 9. Durant slinging, sideline, out of bounds though for Ernest Jackson. This penalty is going to be against Montreal, it looks like.
Yeah, Toronto's going to decline that with the Owls in a punting situation.
Holding. Montreal number 60. Penalty is declined. It's 3rd down.
Darian Durant, who enjoyed so much success last week, coming off a bye week after the loss to Winnipeg. Abject disappointment today. Alouettes have had a meltdown here. Or Speedy. Wobbler into the wind. Artis Jackson will field it near the 43. Now cutting back, and he's dragged down. Flag on the play. No yards on the play. Ricky Ray, how much longer will he continue? It'll be another career day here. Touchdown after touchdown after touchdown. Ricky Ray. And the Argos lead 35-0. CFL wired up for sound.
Hey, the food is out there. Just go eat. Just go eat. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Mic'd up. Behind the scenes Tuesday, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. Last week, obviously, Mike Riley and the Edmonton Eskimos lost. Of course, in Winnipeg to the Blue Bombers, so a little different this week as Malcolm Williams comes back to the football.
Well, we've talked about some of the tough catches receivers have made to help out Ricky Ray a little bit here, but we've also got to give some credit to the big boys up front who have done a nice job protecting Ricky Ray. Something that had become a little bit of a concern leading up to and obviously surrounding his injury.
Argos surrendered 22 sacks. That was worst in the Canadian Football League coming into this week. They have not surrendered 1 second down. Doesn't look like they got the first down, and it looks like they're going to have to bring their kick team out here.
Oh, they're going to go
for it here. 3rd and a long
bodies.
yard. Cody Fajardo is coming out. Well, when everything has been going your way, why wouldn't you for Mark Trestman and the Argos today?
Yeah, and given the field position just inside Montreal territory, this is a gamble I'll take every time.
So the big boys in front of Cody Fajardo this time. Left side, and it looks like he will have that. Talked about those big lines and that Offensive line for the Toronto Argos. Mark Trestman says protection is paramount, and it's improving.
We feel we needed to be more fundamentally sound, and we feel we've moved in that direction over the last few weeks, doing a much better job with that, and it's been a focal point, and it has to be a focal point each and every week. It starts with, are we teaching and are we seeing the fundamentals and techniques that we're coaching? And then it goes to structure and how we're throwing the football and the types of drops we're using, the utilization of the run game and other things that help, help in the residual aspects of, defending a good pass rush.
They've done a terrific job with Ricky Ray today, basically untouched. No sacks for the Alouettes, who, by the way, have not had many sacks this season and not a lot of pressure, just 8 sacks coming in, and this is a feared defense, the Alouettes.
Yeah, and admittedly, oftentimes the approach to playing against Ricky Ray doesn't involve a lot of pressure. It'll often involve dropping people off more because Ray isn't a guy who's that fazed by it, quite frankly.
Brandon Whitaker trying to get that first down, and we'll see where the mark is. Had to get to the 40.5. Looks like he will move the sticks. Biggest concern for the Argos so far today, really the health of Anthony Coombs moving forward.
Yeah, Coombs injured when he was tackled by Dominic Tavel in the second quarter. Saw him briefly afterwards, putting his arm in a sling.
So first down again for the Argos. Past the midway point of the third quarter. It's been an easy ride today for Ricky Ray and the Boatman. Williams wide, top of your screen. It's Jay Green in motion. Ray pulls it back and in trouble this time. Almost threw a pick for Jeff Fuller. Tyree Hollins was there. Let's go down for an injury update. Here's Matthew Shinetti.
Guys, Anthony Coombs did not come out for the second half. I'm hearing he has a shoulder injury, and it does not look good. That's what I'm being told. As for Kwasi Owusu-Ansah, he is also not out on the sidelines, and I'm hearing that is a knee injury, guys.
Owusu-Ansah left the game on the cart in the first half. Argos bitten by the bug today. Ricky Ray's hammered. There's the first sack of the day for the Alouettes, who get home this time.
Yeah, that's Jean-Samuel Blanc, who until this week had been listed on the roster as a backup fullback. This is a guy who's a great defensive end during his time in the Montreal Canadiens. In fact, set a single season record in what was at the time CIS, now U Sports, for single season sacks.
Captured the Vanier Cup. This is a big field goal here from 54 for Hairolahu. Kick is up and it's twisting and it's not good. Opportunity here for Steph Logan, kicking it outside and bringing it up near the 20-yard line. One of the few miscues for the Argos today. Lirim Hairolahu misses from the midfield stripe. Former head coach of the Grey Cup champion Saskatchewan Roughriders, Corey Chamberlain, back in the CFL, and I'm sure happy that he is. Defensive coordinator with Mark Trestman, who had to convince Corey Chamberlain to come back because Corey had a very important job.
Well, he had another coaching gig, looking after coaching his kids.
Little league football down south, but Chamberlain's back. This defense swarming today. Here they come again. Omar Toure, the backfield. There is Corey Chamberlain. Chatted with Corey before the season began and said Tyron Brackenridge, who's also on the coaching staff, had a lot to do. He said, "Coach, come on back." Brackenridge, of course, played for Corey in Saskatchewan.
Yeah, one of his key guys in Saskatchewan. I'm not sure it really took that much arm twisting. This is a guy who loves coaching football.
Especially defense. Durant George Johnson and Marcus Ball, who has been all around the ball today as normal, retreats to the sideline because he's forced Boris Beatty to come out once more.
Yeah, so much talk about the Argos' offensive output today, but it's not easy to pitch a shutout in the Canadian Football League.
It is not. Alouettes really haven't come close to that red zone area since early in the ball game. Chamberlain and his defense have kept them at bay. 3:20 to go, third quarter. Tease Jackson dropped at his 42. S.J. Green, 2-touchdown day, the former Alouette. Little revenge in mind. Souvenir for his wife. Matthew Shinetti will have more on S.J. when we come back. Look at that dynamic duo. Ricky Ray and S.J. Green. Green could have a hat trick today. Let's go to the sideline. Once again, join Matthew.
Everything we see on the field from S.J. Green is what we expect, but off the field, maybe it's the value is so much greater. When you talk to young Argos like Devere Parsley and Martese Jackson and Anthony Coombs, they all talk about the little precise things that S.J. Green says about professionalism. Coombs in particular, although he's not playing, has said so much of his success this year, and Posey has echoed this as well, is about a saying that S.J. Green has. The Canadian Football League, S.J. Green tells the younger receivers, is a 2-down league. You better be an option on 1 down or 2 downs, because if you're not, the team's going nowhere. If you are always available, the offense is going to be so much better. All those young receivers, take that as code, guys.
S.J. Green, such a force. Oh, look at that. Monty Edwards upended right on that corner. Jonathan Mincy. Here's the other piece of advice S.J. Green probably says, hey, go up high and bring it down, however you can, and have a catch radius like not too many others in the league.
Like a condor.
Yes. Could be a good nickname for him. Brandon Whitaker, a little screen set up nicely. Swing screen that works to perfection and moves the chains.
Another one of the former Argos getting involved here. Brandon Whitaker sets up the screen. O-line setting up that convoy in front to move the chains yet again.
Ex-Baylor Bear, long-time Alouette. Ricky Ray over 300 yards passing today. S.J. Green's had just another day at the office. Multi-touchdown game. First time in a couple of years. There's his biggest fan, his wife, watching today, and his brother-in-law, not a bad player himself.
Yeah, next to his wife there, Brian Timms, the Hamilton Tiger Cats.
See him scratched last night. Tiger Cats suffered their 8th loss in a row. The Ottawa Red Blacks winning down the road last night. Seems different statements every week are being made about the East. I wonder what the statement is going to be after today. The way it's going for the Argos.
Yeah, trying to dispel the notions of First Division, Second Division here in the Canadian Football League. Argos with a pretty convincing performance thus far today.
Handed off again on 1st and 10 into a scrum. Goes Whitaker, who was an East Division All-Star last year. Rushed for over 1,000 yards as an Argo.
A solid game last week for him, stepping up in the absence of Ricky Ray. 96 yards on the ground against a ferocious Montreal defense that was led by Kyrus Hebert.
Might be the last play of the third quarter. But ball is picked off, and it's going to go the distance. Dominic Tavel, and the Alouettes will score on the final play of the third quarter. And it had to be their defense that did the scoring.
Again, like it might have been Jean-Samuel Blanc coming off the edge, number 42.
Deflected into the arms of Tavel. Has his first CFL interception, his first touchdown. And the shutout is broken up by Tavel.
How about Blanc with a sack and that knockdown leading to the interception? Here in the third quarter, guy getting his first D-line action of the season.
A guy who's been predominantly used in special teams, sometimes in the offensive set. Going for two and trying to lay out unsuccessfully. Well, the Alouettes do put some points on the board. The only points so far of the second half on the final play of the third quarter. The Alouettes D scores just their second interception of the season. Took a circuitous route here. Bang, bang, bang. And then all the way for the score for Dominic Tavel. 35-6 Argos after 3. If not for that interception by Dominic Tavel, the blowout would read 35-0. It's still a 29-point lead for the Argos in the no lead is safe league. However, this lead is fairly safe heading to the fourth quarter. And I guess the biggest question right now, if you're Mark Trestman, how long you stay with Ricky Ray.
Yeah, and I suspect it might be another series or two, again, knowing historically Mark's not in a hurry ever to get his starting quarterback out of the game. He likes to see those guys close things out, but obviously the thing you're trying to balance it with is protecting your veteran starting quarterback. So, again, I would anticipate there might still be at least another series in Ricky Ray, but at this rate, it's hard to imagine that he would finish the game.
Well, he's already been sacked once in his second half. You don't want to get the guy hurt because the drop-off is huge after Ricky Ray. You saw what happened last week with the Rayless Argos in Montreal. And so Ricky comes out for another series here and looking to put away another 300-yard plus game. The only non-300-yard game he had is when he was knocked out of the ball game by the Calgary Stampeders a couple weeks back here at BMO Field. High percentage, 4 touchdowns. That interception really not one of your stereotypical pickoffs.
On the Argos, you know, they're obviously a pass-first team. I don't know if they would ever even kind of shift gears as you see Jeff Matthews and Cody Fajardo chatting on the sidelines, but I don't know if they are a team that would or really even could kind of shift gears to go to more of a ball control, clock-eating offense.
The fact that Matthews isn't playing today, Fajardo in, Dakota Prukop in as well. Ray to Declan Cross. And playing time for your backup is at such a premium in this league. It might do the Argos well to get in some more reps for Cody Fajardo.
Yeah, you like to see the backup quarterbacks, particularly the young guys, get some meaningful snaps. Not all these guys are like Travis Lulay, where they have a bevy of experience behind them that, you know, that they can essentially come off the bench having not played and jump right in at a high level.
There was an injury on the field. It's Declan Cross, and already the Argos big lead, but a couple of key losses already in this ball game with Anthony Coombs going down and Kwasi Owusu-Ansu also leaving. Try to get an update on Declan Cross. We'll step aside and come back to BMO Field on Exhibition Day in Toronto. The CFL on TSN is brought to you by the 2017 GMC Sierra Elevation Edition. Get noticed like a pro. Canadian National Exhibition in the background. Folks who go to the game today get tickets to the X and can go on one of those things. Why wouldn't you? Been quite a ride for the Argos today. What a thrill ride for Ricky Ray and company. Jeff Fuller, a rare drop here. That was in his hands, and so Ricky Ray will retreat again to the sideline. Just the second 2 and out of the ball game. An Argo offense that's been on the field most of this game and almost on every series has scored points.
Just an impressive performance in all phases for the Argos right from the get-go in this ballgame.
The Argos, who wanted to put the hammer down in that third quarter, had the wind. They'll be against it in the fourth. They've got a 29-point advantage. Steph Logan stops, and now he sprints. Good field position, but a penalty flag down. Nick Lewis, maybe by next week, could become the CFL's all-time receptions leader.
While the ball is
10
in flight,
away
holding.
now.
Montreal number 42. 10-yard penalty. It's first down.
1,019 catches. Now second place, surpassing a guy he has complete respect for, Hall of Famer Ben Cahoon.
He was a guy that was going to always make plays. If you showed up to the game and you've never seen the season, never seen a CFL game, and you seen Montreal, you usually went with taller receivers. I remember back in the day, had Thurman and Cope and a lot of those guys, and there's Ben, and he going out and he's putting up numbers. And he's having fun doing it. He doesn't talk a lot, but he's going to make some big catches and some big plays.
Ben Cahoon had 1,017 receptions. Most of those coming from number 13, who's in the house today, Anthony Calvillo.
Yeah, the guy that used to throw him to Ben Cahoon is now drawing up plays to put the ball in Nick Lewis's hands.
There's another one for Nick. 1,020. 9 away from tying G. Roy Simon. Closer he gets today, the sooner he could break the mark next week. They have the Winnipeg Blue Bombers on Thursday Night Football. Nick Lewis's competitive streak, he's thinking about today still. Durant stretching it out now and looking for a guy who's back in the lineup and has been missed by the Montreal Alouettes, speedster Samuel Giguère.
Yeah, Giguère seeing his first action of the season at wideout. A veteran guy, former Hamilton Tiger Cat, former Sherbrooke Vale d'Or star.
Beatty to boot again. Jackson back near his 10-yard line. The only touchdown the Argos have not scored today is via special teams. Martese Jackson thinking about that. Finally lassoed. Ricky Ray is not done for the day. Maybe one more series here. 11:53 to go in the fourth, and a win no longer in doubt.
This summer, winter's coming. Join your favorite Hicks for an all-new season of ice fishing, snowmobiling, and bar fights. Letterkenny now streaming only on Crave TV. Start your 1-month trial at cravetv.ca. Rod Black.
We've got to hang with those guys. I saw them the other day, the Letterkenny guys, at a golf tournament. They're hilarious. You and I think we're Letterkenny guys. I really do. There's Jimmy Ralph again, his second catch. As we went to break, Declan Cross is getting a lot of TV time today. touchdown in the first half, but a couple of injuries here has been taken off on the...
Zoom in, watch the left ankle.
Ooh.
Just rolled over hard on that ankle. Guy who's had a terrific day.
It makes you wonder if the Argos are flirting here a little bit with Ricky Ray's time in the pocket. Ray dumping it off. And Jimmy Ralph again getting some playing time today and takes it out near the 35-yard line. Of course, a different time for the Argos. Jim Popp is here, the former general manager. Last year at this time when we saw Jim Popp, he was wearing blue, but red, white, and blue of the Montreal Alouettes.
Yeah, the head coach at the time.
There is the mayor of Toronto,
yes,
really.
Mr. Argo, Michael Pinball Clemens.
Who never has a bad day. Why would he? He's Pinball Clemens. Jimmy Ralph again. Pinball Clemens, who has done more for every possible charity than any athlete imaginable, and continues to sign autographs, continues to give back and pay it forward.
A guy who's been everything for these Toronto Argonauts over the many years. Running back, turned slot back, kick returner, head coach, general manager, vice president, spokesperson, ambassador, face of the franchise.
Legend. Fajardo runs it right side. Now will Fajardo stay in?
Not yet.
Not
Ricky's
yet.
coming back.
Clock ticks under 10. Well, again, not to be surprised. You talked about it before. How many games did we do in Montreal where everybody was thinking the same thing, but it's the Trestman way.
And you maybe breathe a little easier as long as Ricky Ray is continuing with what we've seen. Kind of the quick hitting, kind of 5-yard routes, balls out of his hand, immediately lowering the risk of getting hit.
Keep it on the turf. Whitaker once more. Mark Trestman and Jim Popp, what a coup for the Argos organization. Now a bit of a scuffle breaking out.
Yeah, well, there's been an ongoing battle that goes back to early in this ball game between Chris Van Zyl and Kyrie Hebert. That may even be some carryover from last week where Hebert was all over the field and in the faces of the Toronto Argonauts. It's the guy who's the emotional and vocal leader of the Alouettes defense.
Took the maximum fine in the week that was after his hit on Cody Fajardo. Sidelines last week. When you're getting beaten down on the scoreboard, invariably stuff like that happens. Quick release again by Ray to Whitaker. Tavel is there, down near the 45-yard line.
You have to know when you take a shot at the opposition quarterback that you might become a marked man. Here, keep an eye not on Van Zyl. This time it's going to be Corey Watman, the guard, pulling out on this screen. He's the man going after Hebert this time. But you got to know, take a shot at the quarterback as he did with Fajardo last week. You may have 5 big angry men with your name on their hit list.
Now the angry bird is a little angrier this week, especially with the score the way it is on 1st and 10. And just draining the clock here, the Argos as well. Talked about the coup for the Argos, though, being able to get Mark Trestman, really the professor, and Jim Popp, 2 guys who together helped win back-to-back Grey Cups for the Montreal Alouettes.
2009, 2010 with Montreal. Grey Cup appearance in 08 at home in their first season together in the Canadian Football League.
Trestman, of course, went south with the Chicago Bears as their head coach. See in Baltimore, Ray. Juggling grab there from Jimmy Ralph. I'd say the TV sets in Raymond, Alberta. Tuned in this afternoon in Toronto.
Well, Jimmy's just playing to have bragging rights around the family table at Christmas dinner. Family full of CFL receivers.
4 catches on that drive alone. Time ticks down to 6 minutes remaining, and you'd have to think that this would be Ricky Ray's final series. Brandon Whitaker scooting outside. Gabe Napton thought he had him. The Ultimate Warrior saw him slip from his grasp. Another second down here.
Rod, I wondered aloud a few minutes ago if the Argos could shift gears to more of a ball control type offense to eat up the clock. They've certainly demonstrated on this drive that the answer is a resounding yes.
10 plays in this drive, over 5 minutes. Salting away and sealing away this one. Really done at halftime. Ray. And, well, he is human. S.J. Green is human, helped up by Jim Pop, going for that jump ball. That time, Tyree Hollins wins.
Full extension. Defender Tyree Hollins did get a hand in there to pry that one free. Good defensive play.
Lirim Hajrullahu, 84% on the season. Missed from 54 earlier with the win, but is not going to kick a field goal. He's going to punt this football. Right into a stiff breeze. And up by 29. And plenty of breathing room. You hardly need the points. Trying to pen the Alouettes again. And another spectacular kick. This one's got to be inside the 5. Looks like the 3-yard line. Coffin corner. Alouettes in that coffin today. Get in the action this football season. CFL Fantasy. Build your ultimate squad. Challenge your friends. Compete to win weekly prizes. Go to tsn.ca/CFL Fantasy to sign up. What a fantasy day it's been for Ricky Ray and S.J. Green. Not so much for the Montreal Alouettes and Darian Durant. Long field here. Great punt by Lirim Hajrullahu. Just getting worse for the Alouettes. B.J. Cunningham can't hang on. Under 5 minutes to play here. And it has not been a birthday to remember for Darian Durant.
Oh, no, you think maybe the greatest gift Darian could get
to get
at
off
this point on his
game?
35th would be for Drew Willie to finish up this game and kind of remove the risk of injury for the Alouettes starting quarterback.
Drew Willie's now the backup. Of course, the Alouettes traded away Vernon Adams this week. Willie, of course, was with the Argos last season. Now the backup to Durant and knocked down again. What an afternoon it's been for Justin Tuggle.
Tuggle had his first career touchdown earlier on a scoop and score. Steph Logan fumbled a kick return earlier in the ball game.
Former Houston Texan. Played a few games with them. So spent time with Cleveland. Alan Argo. His dad, a former Pro Bowler. Not in this house. So Boris Beatty back in his end zone. And we'll kick it out. Instant field position for Martese Jackson and the Argos. No yards on the play. Jackson's going backwards. Now he's going forwards. Kicking it into gear down near the 35-yard line. Likely decline that no yards penalty. Nice return by Martese Jackson.
But for the big block coming here, this is Cam Walker, number 75. University of Guelph product, delivering the deke leader on S.J. Haidara.
Ricky Ray is still in the game with 4 minutes to go. Passed for 364 yards. And on this drive would be just shy if he can get it to the house of 400 on the day. Argos about to take over first place in the CFL East. Get ready for Calgary next week. Brandon Whitaker. Second down upcoming. Are you a little surprised that Ricky Ray is still in the game?
I'm a little surprised, but not shocked. Again, I know what Mark Trestman's approach has been. It's not about running up the score or anything like that. It's simply about making sure you win the game. Your starting quarterback is the guy whom you've prepared to play. He's the guy that Mark Trestman has put his trust in to win the football game, and he tends to let those guys finish the job.
Cannot argue with the success he had with Anthony Calvillo. Penalty flag on the play. 3-minute warning upcoming. Argos about to go to 4-5. The Alouettes are going to fall to 3-5.
Procedure, no end. Toronto, it's 5-yard penalty, still second down.
Will be second down.
Yeah, Argos go back to their traditional 5 receiver set here. But second and long situation.
It'll come after the 3-minute warning, Dwayne Ford. They've signaled that to both benches. Argos sailing today in TO. Couple of large margins of victory in Week 9, setting up Week 10 coming up Thursday night. Alouettes will seek revenge against the Bombers. That's Thursday. Friday, Saskatchewan in Edmonton. The Eskimos will be angry after losing their first of the season. BC against Ottawa on Saturday. Lions losing to Calgary last night. Getting ready for Week 10. 2nd and 8. Ricky Ray still throwing. S.J. Green crumpled, but moves the sticks.
Looked like a pretty good shot that S.J. Green took there as he popped, and now he's going to take a knee.
9 catches, almost 150 yards for S.J. Green.
It looked like he took a pretty good shot in the head on that one.
Again, the Argos' only worries in this game have to do with injuries. A couple of players that have been fallen in this game.
Well, and, you know, Rod, this kind of goes to the conversation regarding Ricky Ray remaining in this game. And, you know, I mean, that's for Dondre Wright, it's not a cheap shot. It's just a tackle. He's trying to make a play, and their helmets happen to collide. But
here's the hazard.
The fact is, yeah, I mean, you can't control what other people do as much as you can control to protect your players, protect your starters in this situation, get the ball out of Ricky Ray's hands fast and so on, run the football. You can't control what other people are going to do, and you never know when someone might take a shot.
Well, S.J. Green, again, looked like he was a little woozy getting up on the sideline.
You know, or you never know if you have a fumbled snap and Ricky Ray gets caught in a scramble and so on. So that's where my hesitation comes here, is that you can control what you can control, but you can't control everything.
You're ecstatic that you have him back. You know what he means to your football team. You do not want to lose number 15 again. Ray, very conservative though, and Declan Cross who's been hurt twice today, has scored a touchdown as well. Moves it closer to the end zone again.
Get noticed like a pro in the 2017 GMC Sierra Elevation Edition.
So Lirim Hajrullahu will come out to kick a short field goal here. The Argos have not scored in the second half, but they haven't needed to. Basically over at halftime, 35-0. Just one scoring play in the second half. Final play of the third quarter, the interception return. Hajrullahu gives the Argos another 3 here. And so Darian Durant is shut down for the day, and look who's back in Toronto. Drew Willy. He's been on the depth chart for the Montreal Alouettes, but now has been elevated to the backup behind Darian Durant.
It's kind of a week of irony when you talk about Canadian Football League quarterback depth charts. I mean, the Saskatchewan Roughriders now have what used to be the Montreal Alouettes depth chart a year ago, minus Rakeem Cato.
Yes.
You've got Darian Durant and Drew Willy in Montreal, which was a duo for Saskatchewan back in 2013. What goes around comes around.
Minute 27 remaining, and
a tough day for Darian Durant, but you recognize it's a long season, and typically over the course of 18 games you might have 1 or 2 where you find yourself on the wrong side of one of these. You may have 1 or 2 where you find yourself on the good side of these, and a whole lot of close, tough games in between. But you're on the wrong side, you got to shake it off and get ready to play again next week, because this has absolutely no bearing on the next game.
Sucks when it's your 35th birthday.
It'll be one of those. A lot of times as a player, you don't necessarily like a quick turnaround, short recovery time. I think the Alouettes will be happy to get back on the field and play Winnipeg on Thursday. Erase the taste of this one.
Well, one of the trends, I suppose, that we've seen in the CFL, beyond the trend down the road, which is a downhill spiral in Hamilton, where they can't win for losing, but every week, everybody is in. You saw what Montreal did to Toronto last week, and again, there was no Ricky Ray, but any given day in the Canadian Football League, you never know what's going to happen. This has been a very unpredictable season for the most part.
A couple of twists and turns. Lucky or unlucky bounces in the course of a game.
Willie, first pass complete to Ernest Jackson, who has been underutilized severely today. Big toss for Drew Willy, and I'm sure Drew Willy would like to send a message as well. Really, this was Drew Willy's ball club in so many ways last year. Winnipeg Blue Bomber came here, handed the reins, but now he is smothered. Another sack. The Toronto Argonauts, the sack leaders coming into Week 9 in the CFL.
Troy Davis, the man who got his opportunity when Victor Butler, the Argos sack leader at the time, got injured. Davis has stepped in and continued to provide production from that defensive end spot, bookending Sean Lemon.
Argo team that won't have a lot of time to rest as well. Talked about Week 10. They head to Calgary next week, then get ready for the Labor Day game against Hamilton. And Drew Willy is sacked once more. Sean Lemon brings him down. Sack number 6 on the season.
And you're just going to see Sean Lemon coming hard around the edge. He's working against Ryan Simmons here. And Simmons thought he had pushed him wide enough, redirected him wide enough, but looked like on his drop. Willie was offset a little bit to the right.
First lemon drop of the game comes in garbage time. Beatty. I know what you're thinking right now. You want these 40 seconds to go so quickly because you want to go over to that food building at the X, don't you? Our Nissan Titan player of the game is...
Well, big surprise. Number 15 making his return in somewhat triumphant fashion. Ricky Ray with a monster day. Got it going right from the outset. 35 of 43. Threw 4 touchdown passes all in the first half of this football game. Approaching 400 yards on the day. Leaving little doubt that that shoulder is A-OK. Ricky Ray is today's Nissan Titan player of the game.
Brought to you by Nissan, official vehicle of the Canadian Football League. Couple of knee drops here. Ricky Ray, who will go the distance.
Being allowed to finish what he started here.
One more play left. Toronto Argonauts under the heading Captain Obvious. Missed Ricky Ray last week. Back this week. What a ride here at the exhibition for the Argos today. Ray Day here in Toronto again. Their quarterback is back. They're back in the win column. They blow up the Montreal Alouettes. They'll meet again in late September. 38-6 is the final here. Former teammates. Tough birthday for Darian Durant. Argos scored 35 in the first half, more than enough. S.J. Green, banner day. Exhibition of offensive mastery today from Ricky Ray and the Argos, who win big. Week 9 concludes in the CFL. Goodbye from Toronto.